Hello everyone and welcome to my coloring corner. Today is All Things Thursday and I have some things. These are things that my husband has bought me for our anniversary and a really cheap little set of pencils that I got on sale and I haven't even tried yet, but we will. We will swatch them and we will try them tomorrow. So oh, of course, now the dog is going to bark. Shyla, shush. Not quite sure what she's barking at, but she's going to bark. So we have some wonderful things here that my husband got me. Also, we have our 100 hugs, which we will be doing. I just got to move that around because it's not pointing in the right direction. So we have our 100 hugs, and today's hug is Ogre Hug. We have an ogre hug to do, so we will be doing that as well. So, as you all know, on Monday was mine and my husband's 13th wedding anniversary. So he has stuck with me for 13 years and still kind of likes me. So I think I'm doing good. Now, he was a little bit concerned about the way my voice sounded and my breathing and that sort of thing on the mic. So he bought me a new mic and I showed it to you. I have since sent it off with him because it doesn't work for me. So he bought me little hats for my microphone. uh, they're so cute. They're just these little tiny things that slide over the microphone and they're all fuzzy. The first thing I thought when I opened them was there's little toupees for our sugar gliders. They're just so cute. But this little package has 5 of them in it. So if one gets dirty, I can put a new one on it. But they're just so cute. I just thought for sure little tiny hats for the sugar gliders. So that is one thing that he got me. The next thing that he got me, and this is really kind of cool, is a new pencil case. I know, a new pencil case. Like, what's so wonderful about that? But this one's actually different than most of the pencil cases I have. I love the graphics on it, little meows everywhere. It's got a bit of a, it doesn't have that puffy feeling, but there's no need for it because there's no pencils on the inside of this. So on the inside, you have your place for your book and whatever else. But you have these holders here that Velcro in, and each holder holds 120 pencils. So there's 3 sets of holders in here. Like I said, you can pop them in and out. They are Velcroed in. And I'll get the last ones out here. But there's no pencils that go on the case itself. This side here has some puffy to it, but not a whole lot. But it doesn't require any protection really there because there's no pencils right up against this, which eliminates that factor of having to fold this part down because you can just take out the whole thing and have an entire set of pencils right there. That is so cool. So it holds 360 colored pencils, which is awesome. I thought it only held 300, and then I counted, and it's like, no, that's holds more than 300. And it's like, cool. So yeah, I get excited about pencil holders. I get excited about pencil cases. What can I say? And I just love the graphics on it. Little kitties. Little meows and kitty paws and kitty faces. It's so different than most of my other ones. Most of my other ones are um, floral. They have a lot of florals on them. So, and like I said, this is completely different because of the way that it's set up on the inside, which is awesome. All right, so I'm going to put that over here. Another thing that he bought me a mum. He bought me some flowers. See if I can stop it from moving. Aren't they pretty? I'll tip it over a little bit. He bought me a plant, and they're so pretty. I just love the colors in it. And he thought the colors were really nice, and the star effect of them were really nice. I, of course, have looked at it and picked out all the colors out of my pencils. Went, yep, I have that color. I have that. I could color those. And then he bought me, off of my wish list, a thing of soft applicators for my um, pan pastels. I haven't tried this one yet, so I wanted to give it a try, and I just hadn't gotten around to buying it. And he knows how much I like my pan pastels, so he figured that I needed one. So he bought me one of those. Now, my husband didn't go all crazy with my wish list this time, which is a good thing because I've told him several times over the years not to go all crazy with my wish list. My wish list is just things that I'm looking at and things I think I want and things I think I need, and you know, um, but he didn't go all crazy with it, so I was quite proud of him. Another thing he got me was another color wheel, and I like this color wheel because it's huge. It has many different levels of the color. These are tints on this side, so the tint of red, of course, is pink. And it's a gradual pink all the way down to a really light pink. It's just like orange. The tint of orange is the salmon colors and the peach colors. And it goes from red to red violet to violet red, I mean, and then red violet. And it goes all the way around to all the different colors, not just blue, red, purple, orange, that sort of thing. Then on this side, it shows you the tones and the shades. So the different tones, the different shades, of course, shade is when you add black to a color, and of course, tint is when you add white to a color. That sort of thing. But yeah, it's like, and it has all the warm colors, the cool colors, the pure color. It's really, really cool. So basically everything from yellow to red violet is a warm color. Everything from violet to green yellow is a cool color. So if you hear somebody talking about a cool color compared to a warm color, that's what they're talking about. But yeah, I just love this thing. I want to figure out a way to embed it in my thing here, but it's a little too thin. And I'd have to choose a side, and I don't want to choose a side. So yeah, really kind of cool. I absolutely love my color wheels. I find them extremely useful, especially when I'm stuck on a color, um, so that I can help my brain say, okay, that color isn't going to look horrible with this color, especially when I have tangents of weird colors. So the tone is any color plus gray, and it also has all the information here, the color theory information, the definitions, like warm colors are reds, oranges, and yellows. Cool colors are greens, blues, and violets. Hues is another name for color. Tint is any color plus white. Tone is any color plus gray. And shade is any color plus black. So yeah. So this side here is any color plus white, as well as your regular colors. And then this side here, um, as you get closer from this point up to your base color, is a tone because it's got a gray in it. Everything from here down is a shade because it's got a black in it. Just really, really kind of cool. Awesome, awesome, awesome thing. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. All right. And the final thing that he got me, thanks to Corey's enabling, I put these on my wish list. I have one um, that somebody sent me, and here is another one that my husband just bought me. This one is Spring Cutting Garden, and it is a watercolor book. Of course, it tells you how to use the book, techniques in glossaries, different things on how to watercolor. And then, of course, different best budget options, different inks and stuff like that, different paints. And then it just has some absolutely gorgeous. I'll do a really quick flip through here. It goes through here and it tells you all of the different tips on how to paint each type of flower that's in here. And then it goes through and it shows you some gorgeous, gorgeous flowers. It's just beautiful. And it's got a really good thick paper. I don't know if it's the best watercolor paper. I think Corey said that it wasn't fantastic, but it would definitely work quite well. Just try not to put too much water on it. Oh, I love that. That's fantastic. So I will be doing some watercolors in here and the other book at some point soon. I've been a little bit timid of them because I am not all that great with watercolor, but I will be doing some and I will be trying it out. Ooh, it's a nice page too. And I am getting better with my ink tints, so I might try a bit of ink tints in here. Strawberries and roses and clematis. Just absolutely wonderful, wonderful pictures of different flowers, different landscapes. Oh, this one has little birdies in it. I get to paint little birdies. Oh, this one's awesome. I like this one. There's a deer, another deer there, some bunnies, some more deer, little turtles. Oh, a squirrel. Oh, maybe it's not a squirrel. Nope, that's a rock and a leaf. Okay, I'm seeing things now. I wanted to see a squirrel, so I saw a squirrel. Just absolute. Oh, there's a little guy up there. I just love it. Love it, love it, love it. I love looking at pictures and finding little details in them, and it's just so cool. And then we have another, and some irises. And, oh, there's 2 pages there. And then we've got another bouquet. And I know what these are called, and my brain won't let me say it. And some apple blossoms. And some bluebells, or lily, what are they called? Little Easter lilies, or snow lilies, snowdrops, that kind of thing. Little snow lilies. They're little tiny white lily flowers. And some pansies. And I'm just going to keep going because I sound like an idiot sometimes. No, it's just sometimes your brain does not engage with your mouth, which can be annoying. Ooh, that's cool. Lovely butterfly diagram. Some cool plants. And another bouquet. And that's the end of the book. And of course, there's some different notes and acknowledgments, different information here, as well as different information on where to buy things, how to, different things that you can do to enhance your painting experience, as well as different ways of um, doing so on the cheap, which is great. It also tells you about the artist and has a letter from the artist to you explaining different things. So wonderful, wonderful book. Absolutely love it. Love it, love it, love it. And like I said, I really do want to get into the watercoloring and painting and that sort of thing. So these books are fantastic to get me started with it. All right, now last but not least is this set of pencils. Now this set of pencils are called Koi Boy. They're bright wood, they say wood-free color pencil, but I see wood. Um, I'm not quite sure if it's because the wood is a black wood. It may be a manufactured wood because it does feel awfully smooth. So it could be a manufactured product. But they're such pretty colors. Unfortunately, there's 48 colors in here and not one of them has a single um, thing on it that it says what color it is, what color, what number it is, nothing like that. So I'm going to actually have to go through and mark each one of these with a color number before I do the swatch. So I will be swatching those today for tomorrow. And yeah, these were, I had a coupon in the Enable station um, for these pencils last week. Yeah, sometime last week or at the start of this week. And after all the coupons and all the discounts and everything else, they were $2. So, definitely, for 48 pencils for $2, I'm going to try them out. So, um, now they're like 23. So, it was a good discount. It was, I think, 70% off with my Enable Station discount, and then it also had a 20% off coupon on top of that. So, all in all, it was dirt cheap. So, and there's not a whole lot of information on the tube here. And on the Koi Boy purchase page, there wasn't a whole lot of information. It just says high quality, bright coloring, non-toxic, wood-free colored pencils. Doesn't say whether they're wax, doesn't say whether they're oil, doesn't say how it's wood-free when there looks to be a wood casing, nothing like that. So, like I said, I will give them a try, and they are, like I said, a very inexpensive pencil when I bought them. However, the price has gone up, so don't run out and buy them yet. Keep an eye on the coupon page and that sort of thing, or definitely at the very least wait until I review them tomorrow. I don't have extremely high expectations for them because of the lack of information. I have tried looking them up and I didn't find a whole lot of information anywhere else either. So I haven't tried them, I haven't colored with them, I haven't even put them to paper yet, but we will do that today, later on today after I go through and number them all and do the swatch. And of course I will, record that and whatnot. Alrighty, so we have no pencils out. What is wrong with me? We have some wonderful, wonderful things to color hair. Let's see if we can make it stay open. Grab my clamp. I'll grab my clippy thingy. Keep this book open a little bit. So we've got some ogres. Ogres to color. It's getting close to the end of the book, and it's, doing what most books do when you get to the end of the book. Alright, so I need pencils. So let's see what we can grab. I haven't used my Jolly pencils in a while, so I think I'm going to grab those. And the great thing about the Jolly pencils is they're all in one spot. so I can see what colors there are. I haven't put them in a case because I really, really like the tin they're in. So, because I like the tin they're in, I leave them in the tin. So these are the Astra Nostalgia Jollies. They're a Kinderfest um, colored pencil. It's a 48 set. And basically what it is a children's set of colored pencils. And I just think they're wonderful. So that's my opinion. All right, so I'm going to sharpen this one. I'm going to start with ultramarine blue. They are a hexagonal shaped pencil. Should actually see, do they fit in? No, they don't. They will fit in the new colored pencil holder that my husband is making. So I'm going to start down here. I'm going to switch you over to the close-up camera first of all and move you up. There we go. So I'm going to start down here. They are a bit of a harder pencil, so hopefully they don't have any problems with this paper, because they do require a little bit of layering to get the best coloring out of them. And I haven't used them a whole lot, so it's time to start using the things I have that I haven't used. So I hope you all enjoyed all the lovely things my husband bought me for our anniversary. Another thing that he is doing for our anniversary, okay, mouth work, words are hard, is as you may have noticed, I don't wear my wedding rings, and that's because I have issues with swelling. And the last time I wore my wedding rings, they got stuck on my finger. So, and they started cutting off the circulation to my finger. So once we got them off, we did not have to cut them or anything, but we did have to get them off my hand. Once we got them off, I haven't worn them since because I'm afraid of them getting stuck on my hand again. So my husband is going to be taking those in at some point soon to have them resized. Make them a little tiny bit bigger so that if I do swell up, I can still get them off easily and it doesn't cut off the circulation to my fingers. Because my poor finger was starting to turn blue. Gray, blacky color. It was not pretty. But that's why I don't wear my wedding rings, because I have chunky fingers and my wedding rings aren't meant for chunky fingers. And it's just swelling from different problems that I have. So I'm still just taking this ultramarine blue and going in and putting in those shadows. With this being a harder pencil, basically what I do is I put in the shadows. I don't fill out the entire shadow area right away. I just put in the base layers of the shadows and then I build up from there. I will go over it with the lighter color and then I will re-add any shadowing that needs to be re-added and extend that shadowing with a medium color. That's my normal typical thing, especially with a harder pencil because they are a layering pencil. So you have to build the color. Alright, so the next color that we're going to use is this one here. Once again, I got to sharpen it. So this is Hell Blue. I think that's I will check the other side here. And nope, it's hell blue. So I'm going to look at what the light blue because it's in the German language. So hell blue. I think it's funny that they're all in the German language. It's funny. I like it. Teaches me a little bit of German every time I use them. And I'm just going to go very lightly over the entire area with the light blue. And like I said, I will be building this color up. I know it's a little light, but as we get the colors built up, you'll see that it works out quite well. And I'm just shading. I'm just block coloring this whole area. Filling it all in. Same with down here. Just going to fill that all in. I don't know if anybody else does that. Colors in a way that you can actually, when I'm coloring something like this where there's a dimension to it, I tend to color for that dimension. Like down here, I'll color in a curve, to put in that big bum look. I don't know if anybody else does that, but instead of coloring it completely flat, I seem to color it in sections. Like this area here, I'll color first, and then I'll curve it, and yeah, never mind. I'm just babbling at this point. I just feel that I'm coloring in more than a flat surface. When I do that, I feel like there's a dimension to it. Now these ogres are best friends, and they have, seen all the good things and all the bad things in the world together. Tapping my watch face on my tin. Hopefully I haven't moved out of frame. I think maybe I need to bring that in closer so you can actually see what I'm doing, which I will do as soon as I finish this part. Otherwise I'll forget what I'm doing and move on to the next color when I haven't finished with this color. Yes, I have done that. I get called away and alright. Speaking of called away, I okay, so I'm going to zoom you in a little bit here, and let's see, zoom, zoom, zoom. Where's my zoom, zoom, zoom? Zoom, 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 zoom. There's my zoom, zoom in, zoom in, zoom in. There we go. Maybe a one. Oh, come on. Oh, now it's stuck. There we go. All right, so we've zoomed it in. Now we're going to take the next blue, which is mirror blue, which is, let's see, where is it? Oh, number 41, aquamarine. There we go. And we're just going to come off of that edge there where we put in the ultramarine, and we'll be upping that color as well. So let's take a bit of the ultramarine and fill that in. Putting the aquamarine underneath it gives it a little bit brighter of an effect. It still looks dark, but it still gives you that little bit of brighter effect. And then we're just going to add a little bit more of this. So going back and forth between the ultramarine and the aquamarine. And bringing it out into that center area. And come down onto his legs here. Just lightly bringing that all out with the aquamarine. Trying to make sure that we get everything nice and level there, and then we'll go back in with the ultramarine, bring that color out. Like that. And then again with the ultramarine, just filling it in. I don't know why it takes me forever to color these hugs. I think it's because I get too involved in the details. You know, because I do. I get really involved. I see the details and the story, and I get really involved in the details even if it doesn't really make a difference in the color. You know, when it's all done, it doesn't make a huge amount of difference, but I know that I paid attention to those details, which makes a difference to me. And it does reflect in the final product, but unless you're watching the video or, you know, somebody that is very detail oriented like I am, most people wouldn't notice it. You know, I could do this fairly quickly without the detail, but it would drive me crazy. I'd go all loopy. Alright, so once again, just going back and forth with the ultramarine and the aquamarine here, making sure that we do his ample buttocks a little bit of justice here. And then we're going to take our ultramarine, extend that out a little bit. And then once again, just put a little bit more of this ultramarine in there. And then we're going to go down the back side here of his pants. And we're just going to start bringing that in to the center here. And then we're going to take the ultramarine and I'm not bringing it way out with the ultramarine, just enough that there's a definition to that seam. And then we'll go over it again with the aquamarine, just dragging that color out, blending it in a little bit. Same with up here, and then in here. Just bringing that color down, blending it in. Now I'm just going to lightly drag that into the center a little bit, because now we're going to go over it with the light blue again. And this time we're going to use a little bit more push on the light blue. So a little tiny bit more pressure, not a huge amount of pressure, but enough that when we go over this other color that we're able to blend that into this light blue so that you don't see a seam of color change, that it just goes gradually from one to the next, like so. And I'm going to embrace the white spot on this one because it is fabric, and fabric, especially denim, has different white spot qualities. So, and I'm doing this as if it was denim. Oh my goodness, my words are just not working today. So we've got half of his trousers done. Let's get the other side all finished up here. So we're going in with the dark, getting that dark area filled in, just in the areas that connect to the other side. And then we're going to take our aquamarine and we're just going to color into that. Same with over here. screen, sorry guys. Take our ultramarine again, extend those dark areas out. Like that. And take our aquamarine again and just blend it in. Just gradually blending into this lighter area, lightening up my hand when I get there. And of course the dog is going to start barking for some reason. And then we're going to take our light and we're just going to go over that one more time with a little bit more pressure, dragging those colors out all together, like so. And take our handy dandy thingy-ma-doo. Alright, now for his bottom. Put that aquamarine in. And then aquamarine it. And then we're going to come down. I'm just going to extend that out a little bit, just like we did on the other side. Just darkening that seam a bit. And then the ultramarine. There's a couple of areas here that need a little bit darker. And just bringing that ultramarine up in to the lighter areas here. Having to splay my hand a little bit more than I normally do because the book has decided that it just wants to close. Which, when you're coloring in it, is just, not the best time for it to close. Alright, now I need a little bit more ultramarine here. Trying to make sure that it's in a bit of a wispy blend area so that it blends in nice and smoothly into that aquamarine. Okay, so I'm going to turn the book here. Just going to darken this edge here. Then we're going to take the aquamarine. Make sure that that's the one I'm using. Yep. Make sure I didn't go the opposite direction, because I've done that. And I'm just blending that down into the white area. And as I get further into that light blue area, I'm lifting the pencil so that it's not a heavy color in that area, so that when I put that light blue in, it will still show as a light source area. Once again, I'm embracing the white spot here, so I will not be blending this because it is fabric, and fabric has different color dimensions and whites and that sort of thing, especially denim. So we will not be blending it. But there we have one fella's trousers done. All right. Well, hopefully this doesn't take forever. It's going to take a little while. So, um, yeah. So let's start on the shirt. Let's see. I think I'm going to make his top in the brown areas. So I'm using the light brown. And if it wasn't for these sleeves, I'd say it was his back, but I do apologize. One moment. Alright, so sorry about that. This is a voiceover of this coloring because I forgot to undo my headset. So I will try to go through and tell you everything that is going on. Currently I am using ochre for a base coat of the ochre's shirt, and I will go through and color with the ochre. I can't believe I completely forgot to undo my headset, undo my microphone. So of course now we've got to do a voiceover, and I don't know how to do those very well, so hopefully this works. So we're just going to put the base coat of the ochre color all over the ochre's shirt area here. And of course with this paper it is a newspaper type print, so it's a little bit more difficult to go through and layer huge amounts of color. So if we put down a light base coat, it's a lot easier to build off of that. So the next color that we're going to put down, I do believe, is dark brown. And we're going to do the darker areas. And I found that that was a little bit too red, so I think I'm going to grab the sepia in just a moment here. I think that's the dark brown. Well, we're going to do the darker shading areas, and we're going to build the color with dark brown, sepia, and golden ochre. And I think this is the golden ochre at this point, and we're just bringing that in to all of the areas and leaving the lighter areas open. And then after we're done with the golden ochre, this is going to take a while. And of course, you know, it's so much easier just to do this all at the same time. Alright, so I think I'm grabbing the dark brown now. And yes. So we've got the dark brown going down. And in a couple of moments here, I will decide it's a little too red. Maybe. Yes. So now I'm going in with sepia, which is a darker brown. Yes, there we go. And then we will build off of that darker brown with the, we'll build off of the sepia with the dark brown. And getting into all of those areas, making sure that the shadows are done quite deeply. And there we go. So I'm just working different areas at a time here to make sure that I'm able to build that color up. And once we're able to build that color up, it'll work out quite nicely. The only thing with these pencils are a little bit harder than a higher grade pencil. These are a student grade pencil, so they're a little bit hard. They do lay down color quite well on coloring book paper. However, this paper doesn't take a whole ton of layering. So now we're going in with the dark brown and extending out that sepia color into those shadow areas, making sure that we get a good shadow layer. Just building that up. And then we will come back in with the golden ochre after we're done with this one. So we're going in now with golden ochre and filling that in. We're just going into those shadow lines, those edges that look like lighter lines there. And bringing those down, and then we will go over it in its entirety with the ochre color. There we go. And just doing up those highlight colors. Giving it a good level of color there. And then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. We're going to start off with the sepia. And we're just going to get into those crevices and deep areas, making sure that we get a good level of shadow in the lines of in the crinkles and the lines of the shirt. I think I'm going to maybe put on a little bit of music here. Maybe not. I can't believe that I forgot to unmute my microphone. I was thinking I would just recolor it, but I only have one book, so and it's fully colored now, so I can't really go through and uncolor it. And then we're going to go into the next area and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to start with the sepia. Doing up all of those dark areas. Making sure that there's plenty of shadow. I hope everyone has had a wonderful week. Of course, tomorrow we'll be doing our Fun Stuff Friday, and we'll be working on that new set of pencils. Like I said, I have not a lot of information on them, so I will be doing a little bit more research and seeing if I can find some further information on them. Until then, of course, I will do the swatch and whatnot. Now we're going in with the dark brown, and of course making sure that those shadows are extended out a little bit gently bringing that color out so that when I bring in the golden ochre, it'll blend together quite nicely. The same way that we did with the trousers and that sort of thing. And once again, these are the Jolly student grade, the Nostalgia Jolly pencils. So they are a lower grade, well, what they consider a lower grade pencil. I think they're quite a few steps up from the lowest grade available for us, but I still say that the children in Germany and Austria, and because these are from Austria, there's Poland as well. There's definitely a grade difference between their children's grade and our children's grade. Now I'm going in with the golden ochre, and I'm just extending that color out into those lighter lines of the shirt. I'm filling those all in. Now, as you can see, that shadow is firmly established. And once I go over it with the ochre again, it will brighten that color up a little bit and fill in all that white area. But as a children's grade pencil, these are doing quite nicely. Like I said, this is a newspaper kind of print, so you have to remember that putting different levels and layers and that sort of thing in it can be quite difficult. Now we're going to just touch up some of those darker areas. Make sure that they're standing out a little bit. And like I said, sometimes you just got to layer and re-add or re-establish some dark colors on top of your light. You can definitely layer from light to dark if that's what you want to do. And sometimes, especially with heavier pencils or stiffer pencils, going from dark to light is a better preference on paper that doesn't accept a lot of layers. I just have a tendency just to go from whatever to whatever. I have no preferred or standard way of doing it. Um, 9 times out of 10, I'll start off and do up one or the other, either which way. Now I'm going in with purple, which is a dark red purple, and doing his suspenders and getting all those shadow areas dark because I'm going to do the suspenders a nice red color. As well, just making sure that everything is darkened up a little bit, and then we're going to go in with cherry red. That one was vermilion and I didn't think it was red enough. So I'm just getting the cherry red. And of course, there's somebody at my door again. Hopefully they won't knock and we'll just go away. There we go. So now we have the cherry red. And my dog's going to sit there and woofle. Shyla, that's enough. Shyla, no. And Shyla, stop it. And I missed a part of his pants, so I'm just finishing that off. Sorry about that. She's got her She's even got up off the sofa to bark at whatever was at the door. They didn't knock or anything, so it's probably just Amazon leaving something for my husband. Anything I order, usually they knock. So just going through coloring his suspenders with the cherry red. And this ogre takes a little bit more time because of course he is more visible, so there's more area to coloring him. And just going back over with that purple just to do up those shadow lines a little bit deeper, as well as the joint lines. And then we're going to do his button, a nice blue. And then we're going to do his armbands and the band around his collar. We're going starting off with the purple, and we're going to do it the same colors as his suspenders. So we're going with purple and then going into the cherry red. Okay, hopefully my dog is done waffling. Now we're going to go in and grab some silver and do the little dots on there, the little studs on his shirt, as well as his earrings. Get the other ear too, and the studs on his collar as well. Now we're going to do the sleeve of his shirt the same way we did the back of his shirt with the sepia. Sorry about that, needed to drink some coffee. So once again, just going through all the shadow areas with the sepia, getting that nice and dark so that when we go over it with the other colors, it will work out quite well. I'm going to put the base coat down just to make sure that the paper will allow me to get all of the colors down and blend them together. As you can probably tell, I jump around all over the place between the light and the dark, the light, so and like I said, sometimes you just got to build that color up from dark to light, from light to dark, and on and on and on until you get it to a point of depth that you want it to be at. And just putting in that sepia color so that we can get those dark lines in. And then we're going to take our dark brown and we're just going to extend that sepia out. Giving some dimension to the fabric, as well as the bend in the arm and that sort of thing. Getting his elbows. Of course, I can't remember all of the things that I was saying while I was doing this, so now I'm using the golden ochre, extending out that dark brown as well as the sepia into the ochre color, making sure that I feather that in so that when I go over it again, it'll just blend all together seamlessly without any harsh lines. It doesn't seem to take as long. It feels like it takes a lot less time when you're actually coloring it than watching it. You know, of course, because of the fact that, I'm not able to do what I said while I was doing it, it's a little less information on what I'm doing on the coloring. So now we're going to do his skin, and hopefully I move the page up a little bit so that you can see the part that I'm actually coloring. So I'm going to start off with gray, and of course my hand's in the way. So what I'm doing is I'm just going over all of the dark areas with gray to begin with. The reason for this is because I'm going to do his skin green, and the greens that are available in this set are a little bit too light. They're too bright, and I want to gray them down a little bit. So I'm just going to go over everything that is supposed to be really dark with the gray, and then I'm going to go over it with olive, and just green up that gray a little bit. The olive color in this is a browny green color, so I'm just adding that to the dark areas that I've added the gray to for this at this time. And then we're going to add another color to that as well to give it a greener hue. Just because I find that the olive wasn't as green as I wanted it to be for those dark areas. So we will be adding some dark green to that as well. Alright, so now that I've found the olive and the dark green, hopefully I'll get to starting on the coloring. Once again, like I said, I'm just going through and pulling the colors as I go. So this is a dark green. And I do apologize. I didn't realize my hand was so much in the way with these small pictures. I will have to adjust for that next time. The next one is quite a small picture, so I will definitely have to adjust that. So once again, just going over the dark areas with the dark green, making sure that I get lots of that dark color in there for those shadow areas. Up under his hair. And of course around his ears and his earrings. And then we're going to take the olive and we're going to fill in the rest of the color with an olive green. Like I said, this olive green is got a little bit more yellow in it than green, which makes it very, very nice for his skin tone. There's a fly in my house. Hopefully it goes away. I hate it when they fly around my head. Alright, so just finishing up with that olive green on the face of this wonderful little ogre. Just going to take a little bit of that regular green and we're going to give him some green hair. And I do believe this is emerald green, or it could be light green. I think it's emerald green though. No, I think it's light green. Yep, light green. So just going through and giving him some light green hair. And then we'll take some dark green and darken up. Oh, no, we're going to take some yellow and lighten it up a little bit because I didn't think it was quite light enough. So we're just turning that medium color of green, which they call light green, into an actual lighter yellow green. And taking an orange green and doing his little hair tie. And then we'll take a light pastel yellow, I do believe is what it's called, and do his little bones. Like so. And then we're going to do his feet. We're of course starting off with the gray. We'll go through and we'll add the gray to the dark areas, and then we'll add a green to that. The other one goes much quicker. It's amazing how much time it takes to do these little tiny pictures, because they're not huge. They're only a postcard size, but the details in them is just absolutely phenomenal. Now I'm going in with the dark green over top of the gray, just to get those shadows in there. I'm going to take the light green and I'm going to actually do all the little spots on his skin with the light green, which gives it that little bit of bright green on his skin. And then we're going to go in with the dark green and just finish up all those shadow areas. And once again, I do apologize. I didn't realize my hand was in the way so much. I will have to remember that for next time. Because you can't see a darn thing I'm doing. There we go, that's better. I just have to remember to channel Tammy and bend a little bit better, I think. That's one of the things, is I have a tendency to have to turn the page so that I can reach areas and still show you what I'm doing, because I can't bend that well. So now I'm going in with the olive green, and I will of course finish that olive green up and do the same thing on the other foot. I will work with the dark green over top of the gray and then the olive green on top of that as well. Sorry about that noise, but it was my phone ringing, and for some reason it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon and my husband is calling, but I'm sure that he will figure out that I am recording, so he will call back or he'll just come home, one or the other. Don't know why he's coming home so early on a Thursday, but he hasn't been feeling well, so hopefully he's feeling okay. Okay, so once again, just going over those dark areas with the green, or gray, sorry, making sure that we have all of the ankle and all of the creases in his legs done up there. Around his toes and his toenails. That final toe is always looked a little strange, but I know why. So going in with the dark green now, filling in those dark green areas. And getting that all filled in. Like I said, the next ogre, won't take nearly as long as this ogre does, because there isn't as much to that ogre. But this ogre takes a little bit of time, and I do once again, apologize for the voiceover. Unfortunately, that happens, and I can't recolor it, so. And I did consider just speeding it up, but I had already colored half of it before somebody rang my doorbell and got my dog worked up. And of course the train is coming through, just being noisy. Just getting all those dark areas done up. Now I'm going to go in with the lighter green in a moment here and do his spots. So we're going to do all his moles in this light green. And then we're going to do his skin tone as an olive green. And we'll get that olive green down and be all finished up with this one's skin. Found an area that I didn't think had quite enough of the green. So we're just, oh, I missed a couple of spots. That's what happened. So once again, just going through with the olive green. But as I was saying, I find the details in these little tiny pages to be extraordinary. There's so much detail, just in the layer line, in the different lines, in the, different parts of the picture. Until you're coloring it, your mind sees it, but um, the definition and that sort of thing that your mind sees doesn't translate really to how detailed it actually is until you actually start coloring it. And then when you're going through and you're looking at all the little details to color, is when you get a really good sense of how much detail Chris has put into all of these pictures. It's just phenomenal. Now we're going to color the ogre's club, and we're going to start with the sepia. And once again, my hand's in the way. I'm sorry, guys. Well, the good thing about this, that it does tell me, what I am doing wrong with the colors, with the colorings of these small areas, is I am getting my hand in the way too much. Now I'm going in with the brown and just extending that sepia color out, getting those shadows in there. For a moment there I thought I was using the wrong color. Just filling that all in. Actually, I think that's the golden ochre, if I remember correctly. Yes, that's the golden ochre. Then we're going to take some silver and do their little spikies. Because yeah, we need little silver spikies in the clubs. Makes things hurt. Alright, now we're on to the next ogre. And we're going to start him with some greens. So I think we're going to start on the pants, and we're going to start with the dark green, I think. Okay, so yes, we're going to start with we're going to start with an emerald green, and we're going to cover the whole area with emerald green, giving us that base coat. And we're just going into all of the area of the trousers. And like I said, this one here is going to take a lot less time than doing the full ogre that we just finished. So this one here is, of course, the emerald green, and it's just the base coat, so I'm just doing it very lightly so that when I go through with the darker colors, I'll be able to build that color up. And now we're going in with the dark green. Okay. And getting into those deeper shadow lines. Making sure that you get all those crevices and creases of the trousers around the knees and behind the knees and all that fun stuff. Basically what I'm doing is I'm going through and I'm just putting as much of that dark green as I can get on those really dark lines of the trousers. There's some really dark lines and there's some medium lines, and we're going over the really dark lines with the dark green. Just to make sure that those crevices and those bends in the clothes show through really well. Alright, now we're going back through with the green. And extending out into those medium lined color areas. So we're just building off of that dark green into those medium lines. So those lines that are lighter than the other lines is where we're putting this regular green. Okay, now we're going to go back in with the emerald green and finish up the pants by lightening up that, or darkening up, I should say, the base coat that we already put down, blending it all together. Making sure I get all those areas. Trying to make sure that I don't cover the whole thing with my hand. I'm having to hold down the whole little book so that it doesn't fold up because it's getting close to the end of the book. So it does seem to have a tendency to try to close on itself. Now his shirt, I'm going to do yellow, so I've got the dark yellow there, and I'm doing all the shadow areas in the dark yellow. Once we get all the shadows done, then we're going to use a lemon yellow to color the rest of the sleeve and the light areas. Now I could have gone the opposite direction and put down the lemon yellow first, but I found that the dark yellow had a little bit of an orange tinge to it. So I wanted to use that lemon yellow just to tone that down just a little bit. I'm just checking to see what color it is because I had to translate it. So I do believe, yes, that's lemon yellow. So once again, just going right over top of it, blending it all in, toning down that dark yellow just a little bit, but still keeping it dark enough that it remains a shadow area. Now, of course, I could go through all of these shadow areas with a gray or a black and that sort of thing, but I find that it works better, especially on clothes and that sort of thing, to use a dark color of the same source. So I just did the suspender strap for that ogre, and I did that in orange. And now we're going to do his skin, and we're starting with purple, or actually we're starting with violet. And of course I'm out of screen, so I apologize. I'm just doing his foot. Hopefully I realize that I'm out of screen. Boy, you really notice all the mistakes you make when you watch things over again. So I'm going in now with the purple on top of the violet. Oh no, I'm not. I'm actually using the clematis color. So that's a light lavender kind of purple. And I'm using some orange for the spots on his skin. And I can't believe I'm completely out of screen. I do apologize. There we go. That's better. So once again, I've used the orange on his toenails and his spots, and I'm using clematis, which is a light lavender kind of purple, over top of the violet. I will probably come in with a little bit of the actual purple color and just blend that into the violet from the lavender color. Unless I already did it. I may have already done it. Again, going in with the violet. into the dark areas there. Just going through and doing up all of his shadow areas, all the creases in his hands, in between his fingers, around his knuckles, and just filling those in. I notice that his hands are very, very, very beat up, older. I'm not quite sure how Ogre's hands work, but this one here has orange on its knuckles, as well as his orange spots and his fingernails. So I've just got straight orange here, just regular old orange. And I'm just putting it on his spots and his fingernails. I also did his knuckles because they're quite round and spotty. Now I've got vermilion there, and I'm just going around the edges of his fingernails just to darken those up a little bit. And around the spots, just to give it a bit of a shadow because I think they're sticking up a little bit. There we go. And then we're going to go in with the purple and extend out that violet color, bringing it out and softly into the center areas where I will be adding that clematis color. Now ogres, of course, are not horribly nasty things. People are, in lore are quite afraid of them. But you think about it, and it's, the different trolls and ogres and stuff like that. I think they're just misunderstood. They're just like everybody else trying to survive. And because they're not the best looking things, or they're a little scary looking, or they don't have the best etiquette, people tend to list them in the bad guy realm. And I think they're just misunderstood. Like Shrek. Shrek is very misunderstood. Now I'm going through with the clematis color, filling in all of the light areas of his skin, blending in all that purple and violet colors. We've done ogres, we've done our little trolls, we've also done some hobbits in our HugADaySeptember. Sorry, but that had an itch in my ear. And all of them are having a lovely hug, and I think they're all just misunderstood and misrepresented. You know, they all need love too. All right, so now I'm going to do his other hand here. I'm just going to finish off some of the orange bits there that I missed. Make that a little bit darker. And I completely missed his entire finger, so we've got to finish that off. Can't believe I missed a whole finger. Now we're going to do the other side here. And of course we're starting with the violet, doing up the dark areas of the hand. Once again, my hand is kind of in the way, and I do apologize for that. I'm going to have to remember to either zoom it out a little bit so my hands aren't in the way, or turn the book so that my hands aren't in the way. It's just such a small picture that trying to keep it so that your hands are out of the way is a little difficult. Although I do know that other ones that are doing the Hug-A-Day can easily do it. I just didn't realize that my hands were getting in the way so much. And that's definitely one thing that is a good thing about having to do this voiceover, as it shows me, because I don't watch my own videos. Um, it shows me how horrible that is and how to fix it. So it's a learning experience. And of course, we always learn from things. So just going through and putting the orange into the knuckle areas as well as the finger nails. And then we're going to take that purple and extend out that violet. Violet, you're turning violet, violet. Emily has me thinking that every time I see violet now. And then once we're finished with the violet and doing all of the shadow areas, making sure that all of those are standing out. We'll go through with the clematis and finish off his skin tone for his hands. And of course, clematis coloring is a light pale purple color, almost a lavender. It's got a little bit less gray in it than lavender. And that's what we're going through with right now, is just finishing off those hands with the clematis. All right. Okay, so we're almost all done with the skin tones here. We're going to start on his face with a bit of that violet, going into all of those shadow areas of his face, putting in all those definitions, defining factors, and that sort of thing. And then we're going to go in with the purple. Just extend out that darker violet color. Once we get all of the shadows done with the violet and the dark, the violet and the purple, we'll go in with the clematis and fill in the rest of his skin tone, blending everything all together. And once that's all blended together, then we'll go into his hair color and that sort of thing. I know he looks a little pink, but in actuality he's quite purple, which of course you will see on the next camera shot when we go to the main camera. That does pick up, I don't know why, but it picks up the color much better. We're going to do his hair orange, and just going to give him some hair, little bits of hair. And on the eyebrows and his tooth, because he needs an orange tooth. And then we're going to do his club. We're going to start off with the sepia. And of course I did not move the picture up far enough. Sorry about that, guys. I get concentrating and I forget to look up at the camera to see where I'm at. Hopefully I remember to move it up soon. Nope. So now I'm going in with that ochre, and we're just going to go through and fill in all of the open spots with the ochre. And then of course we're going to go through and do the studs with the silver, as well as the tip of the handle. We're going to also do that in silver as well. All right. And now we're just doing the ground area. Hopefully I remember to move it up. There we go. So we're using the sepia for the ground, and we're just filling in some of that dark brown color for the dirt. And now we're going to take a black pencil and we're just going to fill in the different areas where the shadows are the deepest, just to make sure that that shadow remains nice and deep. Because these gentle giants are not tiny and they need to have big shadows. And I gotta come out into that area there with some more of the dirt. And then we're just going to fill in that area with some dirt. Making sure that I have lots of areas filled in with dirt. And then we're going to take that black and we're just going to do all the pebbles. Put in that definition around the dirt. Just get everything all perfect. All right. finished up. So now we're going to move the pencils out of the way. Sorry about that. And then we're going to switch over to the main camera and move it in a little bit, hopefully. Hopefully I didn't forget to switch over to the main camera. I think I'm just picking up all the pencils at this point and trying to get them out of the way so that I can switch over. Because I had them all over the place because these pencils do not fit in my pencil holder. Alright, so now we're at their main camera. We've switched on over to the main camera and taking a closer look at our wonderful, wonderful trolls. Are they trolls? No, they're ogres. Those were ogres. The trolls are before. And of course, today is September 23rd. And this is HugADay number 23. See, I even had to check. And it is hug number 36. And of course, number 35 is I have to check and make sure. Yeah, brain doesn't work anymore, I'm telling you people. So this is HugADay number 36. It's our wonderful ogre hug. And of course, we have a nice green and purple ogre. We'll move it on in so you guys can see it nice and clear. And then we have our wonderful squid hug for HugADay number 35. And then we have our snowman hug for HugADay number 34. And then we have our ghosty hug for HugADay number 33 that says, perhaps everything that frightens us in its deepest essence, something helpless that wants our love. And then we have our hobbit hug for number 32. And then we have our daddy-daughter hug. If we get there, there we go. Come on. Thought maybe I had a different one. Hug number 31 is our daddy-daughter hug. And then number 30 is our Thor hug, hugging his hammer. Then we have the Sultan and the Princess hug for hug number 29. And then we have our, oh goodness, for number 23. And then of course we have our Thumbelina and the Robin hug for number 27. And we have Belle and the Beast for number 26. And then we have our Knight in Shining Armor hug for number 25. And we're trying to get the shine to show. Let's see if we can make it shiny. There we go, in their shining armor. And then we have, excuse me. Sorry about that. Then we have our sapling hug. That was horrible. I meant to hit the, which is number 24th. I meant to hit the mute, and for some reason it didn't mute right away. And for number 23, we have our witchy hug. And then, of course, for after our witchy hug, we have our number 22, which is Geppetto and Pinocchio. And it says, he's more myself than I am. Whatever our souls are made of, his and mine are the same. And then we have our Father Time and Baby New Year for number 21. And then for number 20, we have our Alice and the Rabbit. For number 19, we have the Jesters. And for number 18, we have the Wizards. And then for number 17, we have the ballerina and the soldier. There we go, ballerina and the soldier. And then for number 16, we have our goblins. We've got a goblin hug that says, I would always rather be happy than dignified, by Charlotte Bronte. And then we have our Batman and Catwoman hug for hug number 2. And then we have for hug number 1, our monster hug of our baby and mama monsters. And of course, I have colored other hugs within the book. And once I am completed doing the 100 hugs, I will be going through and doing a complete flip through of all 100 hugs. This, of course, is done by Chris Riddell, and the Hug a Day September is started by Amazon Tammy, Ashleigh Colors, Angie Clarkson, and Shell Artie. And of course, tomorrow's hug is going to be, so that is today's hug, and tomorrow's hug where is it? There it is these absolutely adorable little hugging mice in their trench coats. So I will be coloring that tomorrow along with our Fun Stuff Friday. I will, of course, do some research on the colored pencils that I'm going to be doing for tomorrow, and I might just go and draw something with the little mice. I'm not sure. Of course, like, comment, and subscribe is the best way to support the channel. If you do want to financially support the channel, of course, you can definitely do so by hitting that join link down below. As I said, we will be doing a review of the Koi Boy 48 wood-free colored pencils, and of course I will be doing some research on them to see if I can find some better information. Yeah, so of course on Saturday, remember that I will be 2 hours later than normal due to Ashleigh Colors' birthday bash. So I will be coming on Saturday at noon instead of 10 a.m. 12 Pacific instead of 10 a.m. Pacific time. Yeah, other than that, I think, you know, tomorrow we will be doing the swatch and that sort of thing. And of course, you can join us over on Facebook by hitting on that Facebook link that is in the About section below. So other than that, guys, thanks for watching. Remember to relax, color, and stay safe. Until next time, bye-bye for now.